3 amazing videos here on YouTube discuss iconic video game box art. Trying to make a video about box art now feels like a fool's errand when you've already got one made by Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. But guess what? We're not talking about box art. I want to discuss disc art. Card art? Freaking, I know it's not game art. It's a good thing to call it media art. So you only see this art for a few fleeting seconds, right after opening the game box, but before sliding into the console. But some games go the extra mile, adding a little touch of creativity to make those brief few seconds memorable. Box art, that's purely marketing, but once the company has that game in your possession, they can slap whatever they want on the game. So let's discuss how some companies handle that. I'll kind of just go through the games that I have on hand. I don't want to do any research for this. If I don't own a game for something I want to talk about, I'll pull up a picture on Google, but I ain't doing research.
Yeah, if they're the great Greek philosophers, I'm the freaking Greek food cart guy selling gyros at suspiciously low prices. The greatest rats in New York City! Is that Greek? Wait, I think that's Dracula!
Okay, going chronologically, we'll start with my NES games, which, you know, for all intents and purposes, is the box art. This is what you're going to be staring at on your shelf for the rest of your life.
Okay, so these games are good because you know what you're gonna get. Tetris, a fun Mario adventure. Oh, on this one, he might even find a turnip. Of course, this one's a lie because you're gonna be playing as Peach.
I like how Mario and Duck Hunt handle it, you know? Mario and Duck Hunt. 2 games, split them. But I gotta ask, what's going on with Mario? It's Mario. He's shooting a fireball at a blue wall. It makes even less sense when you pull out and realize he's falling into lava. Flagship series. Art makes no sense. Game Genie is pretty straightforward. There's a genie, it's a video game enhancer. What more do you need to know? And then there's... what more do you need to know?
At this point, literally anything.
Oh shoot, is this an interactive video game? But when it comes to cart art, I think the clear winner is Legend of Zelda. Look at that. That catches your eye. Well, I mean, not really this is actually kind of dumb as heck. But like the NES and the N64 games, gold, beautiful. Heck, I'll even give Wind Waker the pass. That's nice. Then you go over to the Wii U and that's nice and shiny and you open it up and... We had a good thing going, Walter. Alright, next up is the SNES, the Genesis, and the N64. So these are a little more interesting, you know, unlike the NES. These were top loaders. The designers knew that your eyes could drift from the screen down to the game at any time. Consequently, a lot of the art is just the box art. Alright, for my collection, these 3 do a fine job. You can tell what you're getting. A fun-filled world, a goblin-filled world, and a lethal dose of hypermasculinity. Okay, so these ones right here are a little more abstract. Some might say that Gradius is doing a pretty good job, but I like it. Okay, so these ones are obviously just their box art because they are squishing way too much into this 1.5 by 3 inch canvas. Okay, so I don't know if I'm giving these games a pass because I love them, but I'm gonna show you them for a fraction of a second and you tell me what pops out. It's the monkey's face, right? They got the distinct color palettes, the main Kong's face is extremely visible. Well, unless of course you're the geek critique. And then, here's a bit of a downgrade. Zelda. Actually, okay. We don't get gold plastic, but at least they made the paper shiny. Okay, I like it. Alright, we moved to the Genesis, and honestly, not too impressed. I don't know if it's because the label is bigger, but almost all card art is just... box art? Box art? Box art. Just the logo from the box art? At least my precious Revenge of Shinobi card omitted the goat demon, but all in all, not a lot of creativity, except with Sonic and Knuckles. This art is so good! No picture, just the title, confidently written across the special piece of technology invented especially for the game. It is pretty minimalist, but look at the box art, okay? This cartridge is exactly what I was hoping for when I started talking about this video. But you hop over to the N64 and you see a lot more of where they just used the dang box art. I mean, it makes sense. That sucker was cardboard. This cart was all you'd be able to display at the end of the day. Not even my Japanese copies were safe. Actually, speaking of Japanese, I got a Super Famicom game. Okay, I tracked down the box art. It's different. They just confidently put Chun-Li's eyes and called it a day. And that's actually pretty cool, especially since this is Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and the original Street Fighter was very similar. It was just with Ryu's eyes. Okay, I love what Capcom did here. Okay, back to the N64. While most of the media art was lazy, they did play around a bit and had some fun by occasionally using different colored plastics, like DK64's yellow, The World Is Not Enough's blue, and of course Zelda, bringing back the gold. And actually, speaking of gold, I think one of the most absolutely ingenious ones is Pokemon Stadium 2, which uses two different colors of plastics, silver and gold, perfectly corresponding with the Game Boy games. Which makes a great transition to Game Boy Color! Unfortunately, this is my Game Boy Color library, and it's box art. I can't even find my Game Boy Advance games, but if memory serves, it's mostly just logos. Okay, but with housekeeping out of the way, we can move on to discs. This is where things get a lot more interesting. They have a protective case, they're trying to keep the costs of the discs down, not to mention there's a hole in the middle and it goes right through. So we'll start with the PS1. There's only 3 games that I'm even willing to interact with, so Harvest Moon, just cover art. This one is bad. MDK, they have MDK sprawled across the letters like one of my French girls. This one is good. And Dragon Valor, well, okay, that's different art of the dragon on the front of the disc, and this too just has some highly colored dragons. Like, honestly, this art looks more like a failed TCG, but I gotta commend them for putting in some real effort. Also, one cool thing to talk about with the PS1 games is the nifty black bottoms. It was supposed to help with piracy, didn't really though. Okay, Dreamcast. Alright, Sonic Adventure, okay. It's just the cover art, but it's that mono blue and we're way zoomed in. Oh, and check how it meets up with the art in the background, that's sick. Okay, I'm liking Crazy Taxi. 2 colors, zoomed in on the logo, nice composition of the title. Brilliant. Gauntlet. Very similar, but you're using your early 2000 graphics. I don't know. I don't want to look at this no more. Jet Set Radio. Okay, this is how you do it. I would expect nothing less from a game so heavily influenced by art, but flashy cover, minimalist art that is just completely itself, lime green and black, just putting the characters' logos. Okay, you know, you get to go sit with Sonic and Knuckles, man. You are doing perfect. Virtual Fighter is pushing just way too much in here. The 2 colors that it looks like Sega's imposing is just doing it no favors. But it's not nearly as bad as Zombie Revenge. Okay, so with a step into the next generation, we're seeing where my collection is actually pretty developed. So from here on out, I'm only gonna bring up anything I find noteworthy. Shadow of the Colossus is confident. I don't even know if this is Shadow of the Colossus. Jack 2? Actually, really cool. Okay, so the gimmick for this game is like you have a demon mode. Just having the split here is really good. And oh, hey, I just realized that the eyes in 2 have both of the Jacks. That's neat. Okay, so a lot of the games here have N64 syndrome, and just put the box art or just a section of the box art. But I really like what's going on with Jaws Unleashed. This is really neat for a circular piece of art. Eco, I do not know which is worse, the disc art or the American box art. And Grand Theft Auto, that is very Grand Theft Auto of them. This is where they really started refining the series' art style, and I mean, it's legitimately perfect here. Okay, Xbox, I only own 4 games that even tried to do something different from the box art. You know, the Dreamcast's 2-color limitation made some of the discs look bad, but that limitation at least forced them to try. Okay, so Halo has a neat scene with a warthog. Wait. Chief is riding shotgun, not driving. Not on the minigun, just sitting in the passenger seat. This is actually kind of incredible. This is the only piece of Master Chief art where the viewer isn't being waterboarded in testosterone. Splinter Cell has the only picture where Sam Fisher has been photographed without his goggles on, and Ninja Gaiden. Okay, so while this isn't good disc art, at least it's not just the box art. And Metal Slug is just anime. I mean, Metal Slug has a good art style, so you know they can make some decent disc art. Alright, let's check the GameCube. The mini discs might force some interesting art. Also, unlike the PS2 and Xbox, they have color limitations, so putting in the unaltered box art just isn't an option. Not to say if you didn't try, though. The first one that stands out is Super Smash Bros. Just look at the logo there in the background. It's got like a half-tone gradient as you go further and further down. It's got less and less dots. Oh, it is perfect! Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance does a similar thing. If the art were on the whole thing, it would just be the logo. This one is great. I also really like Metroid Prime. So this is where they started getting Samus like a logo thing, and it's going around the whole disc. However, the thing that I really like is there is a lightning bolt, but since it wouldn't neatly fit on the logo they're doing here, they just left it off. This is a really good one. Oh, and I also really like the racing checkerboard pattern on Double Dash. Okay, so a lot of Harvest Moon Games media art is pretty bad, but Seeing a Wonderful Life and Another Wonderful Life side by side like this, just beat and glare, mirroring one another, this is pretty good. Actually, you know what I just realized? Looking at this art like this makes Back to Nature just a little more palatable. Like all three of these next to that's cool, I like that. Alright, let's look at a slice of Chet's life when he had the most free time to play video games. XCOM is good with its logo just in the background right there. Resident Evil Raccoon City is a bad game, but that strip of burning skyline is actually a pretty cool idea. Record of the Agorist. Whoops, Jiminy! Cricket! I will say this, it fits the game. Mortal Kombat 9. Okay, so it doesn't fit as neatly as Deadly Alliance did, but I like the duality of the two. It's kind of cool to compare them. Okay, so Injustice is just keeping up the art style. The hero's just standing around like on the cover, but the fact that these are two separate renders of Harley Quinn tells me that this is unique art, and that's what I like to see. Halo Reach's art isn't amazing, but I do really like it right next to the player manual there. And Halo 3's, it's got the same confidence as the rest of the case. Just looking at it makes me want to finish the fight. Fallout 3's box art has a Shadow Man, but you open it up and then it's like got this mid-century graphic design, emergency broadcast TV test pattern. So I don't know how to word it, but you got eyeballs. You can look at it. See, it's very Fallout. Nothing like the case. I love it. Dead Rising 2. What, is that duct tape? Actually, Chuck duct tapes a lot of weapons together. Okay, that's actually pretty clever. I like that. Okay, so all three Borderlands games are so good. They just put the Borderlands logo, not caring that like a quarter of it will be taken up by Microsoft. A little differentiation for each game and the color palettes. It's good, consistent design. Heck, even the Handsome Collection for the PS4 keeps it up. This is good disc art. Alright, don't worry. Chippy has some other 7th generation games. So the Wii goes back to the GameCube thing of using only like 1 or 2 colors, and unfortunately most of the games I have here are just doing the box art in 1 color. These ones are actually kind of bad. Oh, okay, Smash with this is good. It's the Smash logo, monochrome art of a lot of the fighters. Okay, this is so good. This was great. Okay, PS3. Manual art, straight up Ghibli art. However, Soul Calibur, Sly Cooper, and Last of Us do this kind of cool thing. Like just I open Soul Calibur, boom! Says it right there. So it looks exactly the same. And then Last of Us and Sly Cooper, you open it up, and then like the disc is showing the background, like the characters aren't there. It's kind of like Photoshop layers. And they're awesome. That might argue that Final Fantasy X dropped the ball by leaving the disc art completely barren. But I argue that it's actually perfect if you want James Arnold Taylor to sign your copy. Alright, wanna look at the DS? We got about an inch of real estate here. Let's look at how hardware manufacturers used it. Okay, this is bleak. It's the GBA thing all over again, just logos and box art. The only 2 that I kinda like is Advance Wars Dual Strike, because it uses this rich dark green camo that isn't really anywhere else on the box, and Animal Crossing Wild World. There's a tiny little Harriet and KK. It's small, but it's nice to put something besides the logo up. 3DS. let's start with the classic. Only mimicking gold. I don't know, Link Between Worlds box art is nice. Wow, these did not have the same graphic designer. These are awful. Let's not be too hard. I like the little hieroglyph Link right there. Okay, is there anything else worth pointing out for the 3DS? Okay, so I've had a lot of Pokemon games, and I've kind of just glanced over all of them because they just put the logo on and called it a day. But Pokemon X, it kind of has like these newly grown plants everywhere, which is great because Xerneas is the life Pokemon. With Yveltal's game, they just showed the sky. Man, if they had put skulls like with Eternal Darkness, that would have been awesome, but I guess I'll give Pokemon X a pass. Animal Crossing New Leaf is incredible. So this is the box art, and this is the game. It's just mimicking the box art, but it's the city before you revitalize it. The jungle gym is gone, the tree is only a sapling, no one's here, but it is the same camera angle. This is so much amazing detail for only 1 square inch that no one will ever look at for more than 5 seconds. Okay, so Rune Factory 4 is nothing special and might fall under the purview of box art, but all the 3DS games had these little square holes, and Xseed actually understands that there's an art to the inside of the case. It uses all those holes as frames to show the bachelors and bachelorettes. And look at the inside here. So few players are going to look at this, but they put in so much love. Alright, these last two are why I even thought about doing this video in the first place. I love the Fire Emblem 3DS games. So they got the logo overhead and then pixel art of the characters. Awakening especially, since Chrom and Lucina are mirroring the box arts. See, if you want to, you can do a lot with the art. I'm also going to show off Miitopia because of how uninspired it is. Alright, Wii U. Any great art here? Mario Maker's kind of cool. Just a bunch of disconnected Mario iconography spattered about. Actually, come to think of it, this is probably the most representative disc art yet. Actually, it's really interesting. It seems that all of the games have unique art to take into account the circular canvas. Even the ones that don't still seem to have unique renders for their art. Granted, these are all developed and published by Nintendo. The only game that's not done by them, just slap the disc art on there, who cares? Come on, Tecmo. Agrest War shows that you can just put smut on the disc if you want. Okay, PS4. Yo, this is abysmal. In my limited collection of 20 games, frickin' 15 of them are just box arts. Or logo. The only ones that even tried a little bit are the anime games. I don't know, maybe this speaks to like a cultural issue. If you buy a game with a Shadow Man on the cover, obviously you're just buying a super focused, tested piece of marketing. You can just slap the box art on that. But if you are interested in an artsy game where the art style is anime inspired, you might appreciate alternate art. That, or people passionate about this type of art are willing to do a little bit of extra for the disc. However, if you told me before I started this that the best PS4 disc art I owned was done by Ubisoft, well, let's just say, the corner wouldn't have a lot to work with. But I can't deny it. That guillotine is frickin' sweet. Alright, let's check on my Switch collection. I mean, there's even less canvas here than on a frickin' DS card, so it's gonna get tricky. No! Where's my cup? My Universe School t-shirt! Alright, Smash Bros. This is a nice return to form. They're using that rectangle, and in the background they got 2 lines, and even without the circle, you know those are the logo's lines. So I really like Destroy All Humans cart art. It's got that hypnotic swirl that evokes the retro sci-fi feel that you'd see on poster art for the time period this game is based off. I like that Fallout 3 one. Normally, I wouldn't like the Animal Crossing one, but this green leafy pattern is highly prominent throughout the game, so it wins me over. I really like games that, after you play it, you get what the box art's all about. Invisible is once again an anime game that's doing different art for the canvas. I like that. There's a little dragon next to the logo in Little Dragon Cafe. I'm not a fan of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. From what I can tell, it's probably this art with like a deep purple filter. Doesn't even have that pixelated sprite of Byleth. Probably because they used it on the loading screen, and that was fun. Made loading a lot more bearable. I kind of like Super Mario Odyssey with the red navigation aesthetic. Streets of Rage 4 and that highlighted X kind of makes it feel like the Syndicate's in control and you gotta fight your way out. Stardew Valley? I like that. I mean, this right here is just bad. But this makes me think about who might actually care about the physical games that they put out into the world. Okay, let's talk about limited run games. I have a couple of their releases here, and they specialize in making physical versions of games that are otherwise easily downloadable. If you care enough about a game that you want a physical edition, they got you covered. But here's the thing. Because these games don't need to exist in physical form, Limited Run has a responsibility to make them feel special. This isn't just another way to get a game to a consumer. It is an intentional, often inconvenient way to do so. So for the people who go out of their way to buy these editions, they care about physical media. So it's worth putting in a little bit of extra effort to make the cartridge or disc something truly memorable. Let's see what we got. Alright, so one shot. We got Nico. It's you need arc of him. He's got the light bulb. Like, that's not the art on the front. It might be that though. Maybe not 100% original. Oh boy. Aminowell. All right. So we check this out. I haven't played this yet, so I don't know what's going on. But all right, there's like a little dude on like looks like a lily pad or something. I don't know. That's not really what's going on the front. We look at the back and we see a creepy kangaroo. Okay, that is some unique art. But I am sad to report that the disc art on the PS5 version of Animal is just the box art. And I ain't even opened the other side yet. It's got an amazing art style. So the art is okay. It's upside down. Weird. Okay. Just appears to be a logo, which I mean is kind of perfect. It's the logo. You got that Elden Ring looking thing. So dang, okay. All in all, just a straight up logo. Reused art from not the front, the back. Let's be 100% honest. That little lily pad wasn't all that impressive. Okay, the rest of the games are all so-so. Zelda has lost the gold that made it so special, but okay. So this blue background pattern, they've used it in a lot of their marketing. And then there's Starfy. I mean, it's no gold, but this is dang good card art. Alright, let's end it off with my 5 PS5 games. Dying Light 2. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at since I haven't played the game, but this is a kind of stunning art style. Speaking of stunning art style, Persona 3. And it's just a close-up of Persona 3's face. Metaphor. Oh, this is fantastic representation of the game, because it is an unmitigated clusterduck assaulting all 8 senses at once. What is going on here? Elden Ring. Okay, so this is just the box art, but I think having the disc itself being the Elden Ring is artistically perfect. Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, come on, Marion. And to end it off, Helldivers 2. It's just straight up, BAM! The Helldiver skull. The game logo that's stamped on every single stratagem you call in. It's like this disc was crafted by Super Earth themselves to help spread peace, liberty, and the pursuit of liberty. So, there's some standout video game media art. If there's something that you thought I was going to talk about, but then I didn't, go ahead and talk about it in the comments. It helps spread this video, and we can celebrate some good art. If somebody puts, some passion into, the art of the video game, something so easy to overlook, they obviously have passion, and I want that passion to be celebrated. Enjoy the rest of your day. Someday we'll find it, the Cowabunga collection.